Hi there, I'm Sarah Louise and welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do a video today on some things that have come up in my life over the last 2 weeks where I've really felt like my safety and security has been challenged and I felt incredibly vulnerable. And the reason I wanted to, whoa, sorry, I just spilled my tea everywhere. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because I do feel that it's something that happens to pretty much everybody that's building a public facing career. Especially anybody that's on YouTube. I don't think what I'm going through is particularly unique. Obviously everyone's situation is unique, but I'm sure that many of you have experienced this, and certainly anybody that's doing anything public facing or putting themselves out there on social media is probably going to experience some of these things. And Lilith's just passing through. So the first thing that happened to me was around money security. And it's funny because, you know, when you get a bunch of lessons that all very similar hit together, well, I've had that over the last 2 weeks and they've been on slightly different themes. So the first one was probably more financial because I got hit, as I told you in my last video, with a copyright takedown. And the reason that it challenged me financially isn't because I've had I haven't had to pay anything financially, but obviously when you contest it, there is then they have 10 days to start legal proceedings. And although I did have people that knew about law tell me that there's absolutely no case, it is still a massive fear. It's a massive fear that somebody that's bigger than you can pursue that and try to take something from you. And like I said, I'm sure that is absolutely not unique. I'm sure any big YouTuber, I'm not even a big YouTuber, I'm a tiny fish, but I'm sure every big YouTuber has gone through many of these things and fought these battles. And I almost feel they're steps on moving forwards, that when we want to achieve and grow in life, we kind of have to work through these levels almost like a video game to get to the next stage, and each one feels challenging. You know, it feels challenging, it feels fearful, and we have to kind of push through. And then the second one was something that just happened to me today. So basically I was selling some just plant cuttings on Facebook Marketplace, and I sold a bunch of cuttings to a guy, and he said, oh, what time, you know, it was all the normal stuff. What time can I come? And, you know, what's your address? And I live in a block, so I just gave the block address, like not my actual flat address. And I always feel relatively safe by that. It's a very safe complex. There's double gating. There's a concierge. There's a nice big gate at the front that I feel, you know, I can use. And, you know, I try to be as safe about that as I can. But there are definitely lessons I will take from this going forwards, because very early on in the conversation I got a feeling that it wasn't right, and I should have just closed it down. And I think me being too nice, I didn't want to, I had an off feeling and I pushed through it because I thought, no, you know, I've had off feelings before sometimes with buyers and it's been okay. And I pushed through, but it was there was a really off feeling from the start, and just something in the communication. And basically this guy said that he wanted to come and pick up the plant, and he had my address and phone number. And you could think it's a scam, but actually the guy had his page since 2013, and I'd seen that he'd wrote all of the people's walls, and there seemed to be people they actually knew, so that kind of took out it being a foreign person that was a scammer, or at least I thought so. But anyway, he said, I'm at the gate, where are you? So I was like, oh, I'm coming down, but it was a bit pushy, and at that point I should have just backed out of it, but I said, I'm coming down, I'll be a couple of minutes. And when I got to the gate, I was very, very cautious, to be honest. I saw there was two builders opposite on a lunch break, and this made me feel okay to open the gate and stand in the gate, because they were there and they remained there the whole time. And I did in my mind think, if they go, I'm going too. So I almost felt like they were my guardian angels for that period of time. And I can't see this guy that's supposedly waiting for me at the gate. And he has already tried calling me from a no caller ID, which again was very suspicious, and I really should have just stopped it at many points before this. But anyway, so I do not see him there. I'm like, I can't see you. And he's like, oh, I'll be 5 minutes. And then calls me again from an unknown number. And I answered, he's like, hold. And I said, hello. And he's just like, I said, hold. And I just thought, this is not right. And then I got cut off, and I thought, I'm not happy here. Like, I'm just going to go back inside. About 10 minutes had passed since this guy had already said he was outside, and then going to be 5 minutes. So I felt like I was being kept at the gate for some reason. And as soon as I kind of went back in, I sent a message and said, look, I'm not waiting anymore. And that didn't even go through. I'd been blocked. So I just felt really, really freaked out. I did report it to the police. and just so they have a record of it, because it was a very strange situation where I did wonder, was he waiting there for these two builders to go away, and then, you know, something bad could have happened. I don't really want to think about it, but the reason I brought it up was because I felt so vulnerable and I felt like my safety had been so encroached on. And when I'm making this video, I don't want to say that we shouldn't take precautions. There's things that I learned about that, about boundaries and trusting my intuition and not being afraid of just saying no, or not selling something to somebody, or not giving something to somebody. But we can't walk around living our lives in fear at the same time. And we have to trust in something higher than what's going on around us, because, you know, there's sure situations that we have to put precautions, we have to put boundaries. There's always lessons in that and keeping ourselves safe, but we can't walk around afraid all the time, because that is no life to live. And it could be very easy at this point for me to give up. It could be very easy for me to be like, that is full of weirdos, I don't want to go back on Facebook Marketplace. It could be that time for me to be like, I don't ever want to give my honest opinion on an experience again, because somebody's going to come at me with a copyright strike and I'm going to feel threatened. And I think this video isn't about being blasé and not taking precautions, but it is about that we have to push through these things, because they're going to happen to everybody at some time. And if we want to be successful and we want to shine and we want to get out there, we can't let them hold us back. So we can learn from them, we can take lessons from them, but in my opinion, we can't live our whole life fearing all the time and fearful all the time, because things are going to happen in life, and there's no way you can protect yourself in cotton wool. So you have absolutely no potential threat that can come in. You know, we have to learn to take precautions, to be sensible, but also to move past these experiences and keep moving forwards. You know, some of the bigger YouTubers have had all kinds of things thrown at them. They've been sued, they get copyright strikes all the time, they've had death threats, you know, and there's so many opportunities for them to quit and just be like, this is too scary for me, I can't move forwards. And I have felt like that over the last 2 weeks, where I've just felt so emotionally fraught that I feel, oh my gosh, this is actually really scary for me. But there's also been this power in it of feeling like I can grow from it actually as well, and feeling like I'm really being given an opportunity to not just stop in fear and allow opportunities to pass me by, but to step over them and step to the next phase. And I do feel it's something that, you know, it's going to happen to any of us that are really putting ourselves out there, and it's a horrible situation to be in. I feel I've had 2 horrible situations over the last 10 days, and yeah, I do feel they've both come into my life for a huge growth potential, to not just cower away in fear and to continue pursuing these avenues and taking some lessons from it as I move forwards. But I hope everyone's well, and I just wanted to make this video, and I will speak soon. Bye bye.